What's up, Saints? Final day of Black People Month. Let's get it. Birth of a Nation. Whoo, this movie's rough. Birth of a Nation is about Nat Turner, the real-life figure who was a slave preacher and is also responsible for a near 4-day rebellion, killing 60 whites, including women and children. That's a lot. What's interesting about Nat Turner is that not a lot is known about him. So Nate Parker, the director, had to do a lot of filling in the blanks. My relationship with slave movies as a whole is very interesting. On one hand, I'm glad that we have this medium that most people consume that documents all the traumatic things that were happening to African Americans during the slavery. It keeps people in the know.
You gotta be in the know to know, you know?
No.
On the other hand, I really am tired of seeing what I like to call the black misery self-indulgence. Let me explain. It seems like every prominent black movie has to do with some type of misery or some type of terrible thing that's happened to them. And I think that's why the movie Black Panther was such a breath of fresh air to a lot of people, because it's one of the few black movies that have to do with like black history and African history that shows us in a very, very positive and an on-top light. So I have mixed feelings. But as a film and a story, I think Birth of a Nation is definitely one of the better black slave movies, and one of the more important ones I think people should watch if they're trying to watch a black slave movie. Birth of a Nation tells a very interesting story, and I think a story that really challenged the way you perceive this whole event, and which is why I like it personally. As a film, from a filmmaking perspective, I don't love it. It's probably like a 6 out of 10, but it was Nate Parker's first movie, so honestly, I'll cut him some slack. He also wrote, directed, and starred in the movie. Man was doing a lot. Fun fact, he actually stopped his acting career and said, I'm not going to act again until I act as Nat Turner. He was that passionate about the movie. And I gotta say, the passion really does come through the film. I also love the fact that Nat Turner decides to name the movie The Birth of a Nation to overshadow the KKK movie that came out in the early 1900s.
Now the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort.
Man will have my forever thanks for that. But the filmmaking isn't really what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is the ambiguity of the event that Nat committed. Since he was a preacher, it's said that he felt like he had a revelation from God to commit this act. And as we know as Christians, this isn't the first time that God has sent someone, to enact this kind of violence for men, women, and children. So in biblical terms, this kind of event happened pretty frequently in the Bible. And to Nat, this was seen as justification. But does the end really justify the means?
That's a question. That's a question.
It's really hard to say in a situation like this. And did he truly get a revelation from God? That's up for debate too. There are scenes of him debating Bible verses with others, touching on this briefly, and to be honest, I wish they dove into it more, but you all let me know what you all think. For me personally, this is just me. I really don't see this as the end justifying the means. I get that this event potentially opened the doors to other things that could happen in history. But who knows? Maybe I'm tripping. So you can give your thoughts and yell at me in the comments. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.